So the college athlete that has a world lead is actually Mackenzie Long from Ole Miss. Now, Ole Miss don't normally have a whole bunch of sprinters. At least when I was in school, and since then, it ain't been a whole bunch of like really fast people that's coming out of Ole Miss. Now, what I have heard is that their coaching has changed since I've been in school, and so you are starting to see a couple of, especially on the girls' side, a couple of faster people coming out of Ole Miss. But the world lead right now actually still belongs to Mackenzie Long, and she is in lane 7. And her form is actually really good. I've never actually seen her run. Some of my videos, as I've talked about Sherika and I've talked about Sydney, Mackenzie Long looks like she should be very fast in the 100 too, the way she came off that curve. Now in college, you're going to see athletes that a lot of the running form is not necessarily all the best, but you don't need perfect running form to run fast in any race, right? What you need is good training and to stay healthy. And in college, they train us to be ready for SECs and nationals. So you're gonna see a lot of fast times at SEC meets or at conference meets, and you're gonna see a lot of fast times at nationals, just because that's the way that the coaches kind of structure the season. Only difference between college athletes and pro athletes is that we have multiple different peaking points where they're gonna try to get us ready for indoor nationals in indoor conference as well. So you're gonna have like a mini peak between March and basically between February and March, and then you're gonna like come back off of that type of training and kind of go back into some base type of work and spread that peak back out towards the end of the outdoor season, where you have like basically all of March, April, and then May. 2 weeks into May, you typically have most of your conference meets, and then the last week of May, you typically have, like right now, as I'm recording this video, we have regionals that's going on. So like all the athletes in the East Coast and the West Coast are going to regionals to qualify for nationals. So they're getting back into that peak type of shape, which is the best practices, because coach will give you 2 runs and you finish and you can go home. So these athletes are very ready during these meets especially, but the fact that she's ran 22:03 says that she's actually a pretty good athlete. You can tell by the way that she's running too. She's got her hips pointed down the track. I don't know if that's her yelling, but you could tell her form is amazing. Let's just go back. Like the way she came off that curve, you know, it reminds me of Desiree Bryant, one of my teammates from back in 2014. She was Des Bryant was a senior when I was a freshman at Kentucky. Coming into Kentucky as a freshman, we had like that girls team, they got second at nationals, and Des was a big part of that. And Des's form was always, if you would give like a A++, it was like A++. Like no back kick, all front side action, attacking the ground. You could literally hear when she hit the ground, pop, pop, pop. Like in practice, you looking around to try to figure out who was that's running. Oh no, it's Des, because you could hear it coming down the track. And Des, being a shorter athlete, had to put a lot of power on the ground because her stride length is not going to be as long as a Sydney or a Sherika, just because they're taller, right? Their legs are a little bit longer. So Des had to maximize her stride length by putting power on the ground to open up her stride. And she had to be very efficient, because if she's not efficient as a shorter athlete, then you're not going to run as fast, right? Because you don't have the leeway to have a longer stride length where you can make mistakes, like you can have back kick and you can have a low knee drive but still run fast, because since you're taller, your stride length is still longer and your knee drive is still higher than a shorter athlete, right? So this athlete here, Mackenzie Long, you could tell, just look at, she's barely no back kick. Like she's pushing down the track. You can tell the athletes that have back kick, look, there's back kick here. If we just go, let's go slow-mo, because she's moving them feet fast. I don't know if that's her grunting, but somebody is getting it. So it's barely any back kick. As soon as her heels get close to her butt, you can tell she's got the white shoes, white spikes. As soon as her heels get close to her butt, they go straight through. They don't back kick like as if like try to touch the butt, right? Like look, heel to butt, heel through, heel to butt, heel through. There's a difference. It's a slight difference, but it's a difference. And when you're talking about milliseconds, you're talking about tenths of a second. You know what I'm saying? To win a race, these little things make a big difference if you're taking 100 strides to get to the finish line, right? So the fact that she's very efficient is a good thing for her. You could tell. The feet don't get close to the butt. They come through before they touch the butt. And the rate of speed that she's going at is a little bit faster than most. Look, now she's trying to turn it on, coming off the curb, driving her arms back. She's got a little bit of side. You see a lot of that with the female athletes. Like everything matters. The women that don't have as much of a side-to-side motion, when you look at the Sydneys, the Sherikas, Abbies, the Jenna Prandinis, they're a little bit more efficient because they don't have as much of a side-to-side stroke. It's more of a forward and back. So it makes the run a little bit more efficient. If you're going side to side at the end of your race, that's going to actually amount to you not going forward and back, which when you're talking tenths of a second, that's very important. But as she comes down the track, she just keeps working. She keeps working. And at this point in the race, is less about how fast you're going to go, because you're not going to speed up in the last 50. Okay, there are some athletes that can speed up all the way to 100 and to maybe like 160, 107, maybe 180. But there's a certain point in the race where you're not going to be increasing speed. You're going to either be you're really going to be trying to hold your speed and decrease speed less, which is at this point of the race. So the person who's a little bit more efficient with their mechanics typically slows down slower. The only difference is you can be efficient with your mechanics and take 1,000 steps in the last 50 meters and slow yourself down, versus trying to take less steps to the finish line and pushing your hips down the track. That's why you see taller athletes finish longer races faster, or any race faster, pretty much 100, 200, 400 sprint races, because they typically take less steps to the finish line and their hips are typically in a better position. They're running taller, and the last thing is that their stride length is a little bit longer, so they can get more out of their tired state, being a little bit fatigued at the end of a race, versus a shorter athlete. So the shorter athletes have to be very efficient, and they have to make sure that they maximize every step so that when they get close to the end of a race, they don't decrease or decelerate faster than other athletes. And that's what you see Mackenzie Long do, because you can see the athlete to her left, they're even, but that athlete's mechanics are a little bit less efficient. More back kick, spend more time on the ground, touching the heels on the ground at the end of the race, versus staying front side, continuing to work, right? Driving arms forward and back. All that makes a difference. Someone's SEC champion, someone's not. But like I said, the 200 meters is heating up. For the women, it's heating up. We're going to do some videos for the men. But until next time, hope y'all come back. Hope y'all watch the next video. It's going to be hot. Y'all check it out. We're going to continue to talk about track as we get closer to USA Nationals, get closer to NCAA Nationals, and the ultimate this year, the Olympics. Alright, so y'all stay tuned. Be ready for more videos. We out. Love y'all. Peace.